Okay, let's set the scene. I want you to imagine the summer of 1972. It's July.
Right, so the world economy is still pretty stable. The OPEC crisis is still a year away. Just a whisper.
Exactly. And in Coventry, England, Jaguar's engineers are about to do something. Well, something completely reckless, luxurious, and frankly, brilliant.
They unveiled the Jaguar XJ12 Series 1.
And here's the thing that should, rewrite a bit of automotive history.
It really should. At its launch, the XJ12 was the world's only mass-produced V12 four-door luxury saloon.
Think about that, the audacity of that claim. In 1972, this was a category of one.
An automotive category of one.
Yes, and it wasn't just a powerful car, it was a definitive statement. Jaguar instantly created the fastest four-door production car on the planet.
Capable of a blistering 140 miles per hour, or about 225 kilometers per hour.
Which is astonishing when you look at the competitive landscape. I mean, Mercedes-Benz, the undisputed king of luxury saloons.
They had no 12-cylinder four-door. Nothing.
And BMW.
Oh, their V12 sedan was still decades away. Jaguar didn't just compete here. They completely defined a new segment of high-performance luxury.
So what's really fascinating, and this is kind of the opportunity we're diving into, is the sheer content void around this car.
Yes. Only 3,235 Series 1 XJ12s were ever produced.
That makes it rarer than a lot of so-called exotic cars we talk about all the time.
Cars that command, seven-figure prices. And yet, if you browse modern car media, this model is almost a ghost. It's just absent from the conversation.
And that rarity, combined with the total lack of modern recognition, creates a massive market inefficiency.
It does.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our mission for this deep dive is to get to the bottom of the revolutionary engineering here, and crucially, to track the surprising financial reality.
Because it is surprising.
While everyone's been obsessing over the E-Type, the XJ12 has been quietly appreciating by a documented 47.8% since 2020. This forgotten V12 is making a massive silent comeback.
And we're here to find out why. It's time to pull back the curtain on this forgotten icon.
To really understand the XJ12, you have to start with its DNA, which means talking about the genius of Malcolm Sayer.
Sayer wasn't just a car designer in the traditional sense. He was a British aircraft engineer, an aerodynamicist.
The mind behind the C-Type, the D-Type, and of course the globally celebrated 1961 E-Type. Functional elegance.
And here's a crucial detail, a really poignant one for the XJ12 story. Sayer died in April 1970.
2 years before the car even launched.
Exactly. The car launched in July 1972 after his death. But every single proportion, every gentle curve on that car, that low-slung, purposeful shape, it was all a direct execution of his final aerodynamic principles.
The XJ12 body was really the final word, the culmination of his life's work.
A refinement of a design philosophy rooted in maximum speed and minimum drag.
What he brought to car design was just completely revolutionary for the time, right? I mean, he wasn't sketching and using clay models like everyone else.
Absolutely not. He was decades ahead of his time. Sayer brought proper mathematical engineering to car design. He didn't use physical lines. He developed a unique three-dimensional mathematical matrix to define the surface curves.
So he's inputting coordinates, and the body panels are structured around that raw data.
Precisely. It was essentially a precursor to modern computer-aided design, to CAD. He was applying aircraft engineering principles, so the XJ12 was optimized aerodynamically in a way its rivals just couldn't match.
So Sayer provides the scientific structure, but the ultimate vision, the soul of the car, that came from the founder himself, Sir William Lyons.
Yes, and this is the very last car that Lyons personally designed and oversaw before he stepped back.
It truly was his final statement, a capstone to his career.
And his core philosophy was always crystal clear. A Jaguar should be a copy of nothing. The XJ12 achieved that beautifully. It's low-slung, elegant, and it copied nothing from the slab-sided rivals coming out of Germany or the US.
It's that continuous, refined design lineage. You can see the line from the C-Type to the D-Type to the E-Type, and it concludes right there with the XJ12.
A perfect endpoint.
That design commitment set the stage. But for a car with this much ambition, the engineering had to match the look. So let's talk about the heart of this beast, the V12, its origins. They're really surprising.
Yeah, you hear V12 and you immediately think highly strung, delicate, exotic. But that's where this engine is completely different.
It wasn't designed for a luxury saloon at all, was it?
Not initially. It was designed way back in 1964 as a pure DOHC, a double overhead cam racing engine for the XJ13 Le Mans project.
A project that was eventually shelved, but the engine lived on.
It did. The engineers, led by William Haynes, took that bomb-proof racing block and adapted it for road use. It appeared in the E-Type first.
So how did they tailor that raw power for the luxury sedan market? What did they change?
Well, they simplified the head design, going from DOHC to a single overhead cam, SOHC. This gave it better low-end torque and reduced the maintenance complexity. But crucially, they kept the fundamental robustness of the original block.
And the specs for the Series 1?
It was a 5.3-liter unit, 5,344 cubic centimeters to be exact. And it featured an over-square configuration, 90-millimeter bore, 70-millimeter stroke.
Okay, for those of us not constantly dissecting engine schematics, what does over square mean, and why is that so important for the XJ12's character?
It's a great question. Over square simply means the diameter of the piston, the bore, is wider than the distance it travels up and down, which is the stroke.
So a shorter travel distance for the piston.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because that stroke is shorter, the engine can spin faster, up to that 6,500 RPM redline, without putting immense stress on the components. It lets the engine breeze better at high RPMs, which you need for 140-mile-an-hour, but it also contributes to that signature smooth operation at highway speeds.
It sounds like the technical secret, and why so many enthusiasts praise it today, comes down to that original racing brief. A reliable V12 from the 70s just sounds too good to be true.
Well, the trade-off is really weight, though it's an all-aluminum engine, which helps a lot. But the payoff is tremendous long-term reliability.
Because it was designed for endurance racing.
Yes. Think about it. It was designed for the brutal, non-stop punishment of a 24-hour race. So when you put it in a luxury road car, it was, quote, totally unstressed. It was massively overbuilt.
If you design an engine to run at 8,000 RPM for a full day, running it at 60 mph in a quiet saloon is basically a vacation for it.
That's a perfect way to put it. As long as you do the basic preventative maintenance, the engine's reliability is fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
It's what classic car experts lovingly call a solid lump.
And that structural soundness gave Jaguar a competitive edge that just nobody could touch. It genuinely embarrassed the competition.
Oh, it was a serious power move. They didn't just match the high-performance leader at the time, the Mercedes 300 SEL 6.3, they actively undercut it.
The Mercedes was a V8, right? Producing about 250 horsepower.
Correct. And the XJ12 gave you comparable, often better performance with double the cylinders, and it was typically 15 to 20% cheaper. For years, Mercedes had no direct answer.
And that thoughtful engineering goes beyond just the engine block. I love the nugget about the fuel system.
The twin fuel tanks, yes, tucked into the rear flanks, each one served by its own independent fuel pump.
This wasn't just for range, was it?
No, it was a built-in redundancy feature, harkening right back to that racing reliability mandate. We heard from one owner who said his car started to stutter on the highway. One pump had failed.
And what did he do?
She just flicked a switch on the dashboard to the second tank and drove the remaining 80 miles home. No problem. That kind of over-engineering just speaks volumes.
Let's shift gears then and talk about the ownership reality. You buy this world-first, race-derived luxury car. What's it actually like to drive?
It's crucial for any modern buyer to understand this is a fast, smooth cruiser, not some nimble sports sedan. The steering is light, the suspension is soft.
And the V12's character.
The description you find everywhere from every owner is glass smooth from idle to redline. The quiet, vibration-free power delivery is just unmatched by any contemporary V8 or even an inline six.
And inside.
Proper period luxury. Leather, wood, and what a lot of owners appreciate now is the mechanical honesty, the exposed switchgear. It's a comfortable, grand place to be for a long journey.
But if we connect this romance to the reality of ownership today, there are two huge, unavoidable trade-offs. Let's start with the elephant in the garage.
The prodigious thirst for fuel.
Yes.
The Series 1 demands respect at the pump. You're looking at maybe 12 to 14 miles per gallon, and that's being generous.
This is not your daily commuter.
Not unless you have a corporate fuel card that nobody tracks. But, to be fair, the competing Mercedes 300 SEL was also very thirsty. Similar figures. It was just the standard for that class of car in the early 70s.
And the second trade-off, maintenance complexity. This is where that initial purchase price can start to feel like the small part of the equation.
That tightly packed V12 engine bay is notorious. The engine is huge, and the chassis was originally designed for a narrower inline-six engine.
I think I read one mechanic said it was like 4,000 pounds of parts packed into a fairly small space.
That sounds about right. It makes maintenance incredibly labor-intensive. Even changing the inner spark plugs is a complex job, often requiring you to move a bunch of hoses and wires just to get access. One owner told us it felt less like maintenance and more like an archaeological dig.
Beyond just how dense it is, There are specific weaknesses in the Series 1 that any potential investor has to know about. Let's detail the 3 big mechanical offenders.
Okay, number 1, and the most infamous, is the electrical loom. The original 1970s connectors were a bit undersized, a minor cost-cutting measure at the time.
And 50 years later.
They're prone to corrosion and rust. This leads to those legendary persistent electrical gremlins that Jaguar owners both love and hate.
The second area to watch is the ignition system, specifically the distributor.
Yes, the mechanical advance mechanism inside it. It adjusts the spark timing as the engine revs up. If that mechanism seizes from neglect or old grease, which is common,
the timing gets stuck.
Exactly, it gets stuck too late, which very quickly leads to detonation and overheating. That is a fast route to expensive engine damage if you don't catch it. Preventative maintenance here is absolutely non-negotiable.
And number 3, the simple reality of 50-year-old organic material.
Rubber. All those rubber fuel hoses deteriorate and harden over time, especially with modern ethanol fuels. You just can't assume a 50-year-old hose is safe.
So they need proactive planned replacement right after you buy the car.
Immediately. A perished fuel line in that packed engine bay is a serious fire risk. This car demands investment, not just financial, but intellectual and temporal. It's a relationship, not an appliance.
Which brings us back to the numbers. Despite all this complexity, why is this car being flagged as a smart investment? Why is the market finally waking up?
Because the price has been totally disconnected from its rarity and its historical significance, mostly due to that reputation for complexity, that content gap we talked about. That's the opportunity.
And the data backs it up.
The data is clear and very strong. The median value for a Series 1 jumped 47.8% from around £6,500 in 2020 to $9,675 in 2025. That is an extreme outlier for non-exotic classics.
And yet, even for an excellent, well-sorted example, the price ceiling is still only around £25,000.
Which is a fraction, a literal fraction of what you'd pay for a 1970s V12 Ferrari or Lamborghini, even though the XJ12's core engineering is arguably more sound because of those over-engineered racing roots.
It's a market inefficiency driven by fear.
Fear of maintenance costs? Yes.
Wow.
But when you actually compare the running costs of a sorted XJ12 to its European V12 peers, the Jaguar starts to look very sensible. Maintenance on a V12 Ferrari 365 can easily hit 5 figures for simple services. The Jaguar's complexity is frustrating, but it's solvable.
And this rising interest is now becoming official. Hemmings Motor News included the XJ12L in their 2025 investment guide.
That's a huge signal. It shows that serious collector interest is moving into this pre-electronics, purely mechanical era. They're seeking out rare, sound, and undervalued assets. The car everyone forgot is now quietly outperforming the market.
So what does this all mean? The XJ12 is not an appliance you drive, it's a mechanical puzzle you solve.
And your reward is the smooth, unique sound and feel of a V12 that was designed to be fundamentally indestructible, housed in one of the most elegant four-door bodies ever made.
The Jaguar XJ12 Series 1 really is the physical manifestation of Jaguar's huge performance bet. An audacious claim made right before the 1973 oil crisis killed demand for cars like this.
If history had turned just slightly differently, this car would be hailed as a technological landmark, a global success. Instead, it became a footnote.
It represents a brief, shining moment of mechanical audacity that copied nothing.
It requires an owner who is mechanically curious, but for that effort, you get a documented world first with an unstressed, glass-smooth V12 engine.
So, Sir William Lyons said a Jaguar should be a copy of nothing. Given the XJ12's unique achievement, its engineering robustness, and the fact that it sat undervalued for so long because of simple maintenance fear, what other forgotten engineering masterpiece from that pre-electronics era is currently sitting in a garage waiting for its story to be reclaimed and its value to explode?
It's a question worth mulling over the next time you're looking at the auction listings.